Okay, so today we wanted to continue to introduce additional topics in trigonometry. The first thing we wanted to introduce is the law of sines. So before we introduce the law of sines, we wanted to introduce a special triangle. It's called oblique triangle. So what is oblique triangle? Is a triangle does not contain a right angle. So what does this mean? Oblique triangle is not a right triangle, yeah? So all the triangles that are not right triangles, they are oblique triangles. Then it can be an acute triangle, it can be an acute triangle or obtuse triangle. Yeah, but one thing you guys need to be reminded, okay, so the trigonometric function sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent is defined in the right triangle. So opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, all the opposite adjacent hypotenuse are related with what? A right triangle. So you do not have this property in the oblique triangles. Okay, so how could we solve the oblique triangles? We will use the following technique. The law of sines and the law of cosine that we will learn next section. So what is the law of sines? So if A, B, C are the triangle, are the angles, and so A corresponding to the side A, B corresponding to the side B, C corresponding to the side C angle, yeah, okay? So we know that A over sine A equal to B over sine B equal to C over sine C. Why? Yeah, so how could we get this thing? So when you draw because all these signs, sine A, sine B is defined in the right triangle, yeah? So we draw a height from A on the BC. So what happened? We get the two right triangle, yeah? So we let the height to be H. Yeah, on the left triangle. Okay, on the left triangle. Okay, so what will be sine of B? Is what? H over C, yeah? So what is H? It's C times sine B, yeah? So on the right triangle, on the right triangle, what is sine of C then? Sine of C is equal to what? H over B. So what does this equal to? H equal to B sine C. Yeah, so height is the same thing, yeah? So what does this tell you? C times sine B equal to what? B sine C. Yeah, okay, so what will you do? You divide sine B here, you divide sine C here. What do you have? B over sine B equal to what? C over sine C. This is how you get this part of the law of sines. Typically, similarly, you can draw a height here on AC, draw a height here, and you will get the whole thing. But the law of sines, what will be the important notice? In order to use law of sines, okay, you need to have a pair. You need a pair. Means an angle plus its opposite side. Okay, so we need an angle at its opposite side. Okay, so this is super important. Okay, solving the oblique triangle means to find all the lengths at all the angles. Okay, okay, okay. So and so then we wanted to see this, what kind of cases could we solve. Okay, so and so this is what SAA or ASA or SASA. Okay, ASAA or ASA. What does this mean? We know two angles and one side. So if we know two angles, do we need to pay attention to which side we need to know? No, because when you know two angles, if you know two angles, what does this mean? The third angle is free too. So because the sum of a triangle is 180, the third is given too. Oh, it's given or can be, the third can be found too. Because what happened? 180 minus the sum of two angles. That will be the third angle. Are you with me? So if you are given two angles, the third one you know, so this means you know all three sides. Then any side will give you a pair. All three angles. Then if you know any side of the triangle, you will definitely have a pair. Yeah. Okay. So this is means so SAA or ASA or AAS, it all works. Yeah. So how could you solve this? A equal to 64, C equal to 82. If I were you, I would find what? B first. Okay, so A plus B plus C, and then you B equal to what? 34 degrees. Then what happens? So it depends on C here. C equal to 14, this means, okay, so C will give me a pair. So C will give me a pair. C over sine of C equal to A over sine of A. And then you can find A. Yeah. So you can plug in. And then A equal to what? Sine, you multiply sine A on both sides. I think if I were you, I will not do these many steps. I will multiply sine A on both sides. So what happened? It's directly equal to here, yeah. Yeah, so C sine A over sine C, yeah. And then you plug in all the values, you can get it. Okay, and similarly, because your B is here, so you can use the same formula and you get your B. Okay, so this is if you are given two angles one side, yeah. Okay, so this is another one, is ASA. I do not, for me, I consider these two cases are the same. So because once you are given two angles, the third angle is free. It's given automatically. Okay, so I will not do this one. Okay, so but another case is if you are given two sides one angle. So this one is a tricky case. This one is a super tricky case. Okay, so what could you do for SSA? Okay, could you give this angle? Okay, so how could I? Okay, so SSA, what does this really mean? So you need to different SSA and SAS. They are different. What means SSA? So you are given one side, another side, and then you give the angle. You give BCB. You are given side B, side C, and angle B. Are you with me? So this is SASB. So this is what your means SSA. What means SAS? So the angle is in between the sides. So what it will be SAS. You given a side A, you have angle C, yeah, angle C, and you have a side B. So why this does not work? So if you are given, A, B, at the angle C here, are you with me? Do you have a pair? SAS will not give you a pair. Yeah, so because the angle corresponding to the side C and the A corresponding to A, you know A, you do not know the angle A. You know B, you do not know the angle B. You know the angle C, but you do not know the side C. So you do not have any pairs. So this is SAS does not work for law of sines, but SSA does work. SSA does work. If you have this side and then its adjacent side, okay, its next side, and then you have the angle, not the angle in the middle. It's the angle. Any other two angle will be okay. Any other angle will be okay. Okay, so this will be SSA means. Okay. Okay, so this is very important. But in all for all these law of sines and cosine law of sines, what you always need to remember, you need to find a pair. If there is a pair, use it. If there is no pair, sorry, does not work. Okay. Okay, so the ambiguous case means here. Okay, so there is, so this is a question in on the exam like this. Yeah, so this means one triangle, or one right triangle, or no triangle, or two triangles. Okay, so what does this mean? So if you have one triangle, so this means or one right triangle, maybe the first. So when you have A, so your the other side will be what? H, equal to H. Okay, so if your side here is what? Too short, what happened? It cannot, be connected to this side. Then you do not have the triangle. You do not have the triangle. Okay, and so the next thing is, okay, so sometimes if the height is not too bad, yeah, so then you will have what? Two triangles because it's bigger than the height here, but it's also less than the side B. So because if it's less than side B, it does not work anymore. Yeah, so then so this means what? Two triangles. Okay. Okay, so this one is what? Greater than B. Then you only have a right triangle, because when you cannot go to the left side here. Okay, so I think it will be easier to when we look at some examples. Okay, so we solve the triangle if A equal to 50, A equal to 10, B equal to 20. Do we have a pair? Yes. A and side A and side A, yeah. So what will we do? We have to draw the picture now, yeah. So what should we do? A over sine A, B over sine B, yeah. Okay, so what do we have? A sine B equal to B sine A, sine B, which will be B sine A over A, and it will be this. And what does this give to you? Sine B equal to what? 1.53. What will be the angle? Guys, be careful. Okay, what is the maximum sine? 1. So it's even bigger than 1. Then this means what? No solution. No solution here, yeah? So what does this mean? No triangle. No triangle. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, so once you get sign B is bigger than 1 or less than -1, it's over. Okay, so the next one, we have A sine 35A, A, B. Do we have a pair? Yes. A and side A, yeah? Angle A and side A. The same thing, A sine A, B sine B. So we get sine B equal to what? 0.7648. Okay, so what will be the, when you do the sine inverse? It's 50 degrees. Okay, but very important. So for the sine B is positive, yeah? Sine B is positive. Which quadrant could it be in? B is in quadrant what? 1 or quadrant what? 2. And the sine inverse, what is this angle mean? That's your what? Reference angle. So in quadrant 1, do you remember? It is your reference angle. It's almost what? 50 degrees. In quadrant 2, what will be the angle? Do not forget, is what? 180 or pi minus the reference. Because it will be what? 130 degrees. Think about this. So reference is either 50 here or 50 here, yeah? Reference means all the terminal side with x-axis. So this angle, which will be what? 180 minus 50. This will be what? 130 degrees. Okay, so there are two possible angles, either 150 or 130. And how could we decide whether they are working? So case 1. So B1 will be what? 50 degrees, yeah? What's your A? 35 degrees. What will be your C1 then? 180 minus what is 180 minus 50 minus what? 35 equal to what? 95 degrees, yeah? Okay, so case 2. Your B1, B2, it will be what? 130 degrees. Your A is what? 35 degrees. What will be your C2? 180 minus 130 minus 35 degrees. So what do we have? 15 degrees. So this means how many possibilities do you have for B and C? 2. So this means how many triangles do you have? 2 triangles. And you find B, you find A, you find C1, and then you can use the law of sines to find side C. You can use the law of sine to find side C here. So here, yeah, okay, so here you can see, you can find 135 degrees. Yeah. Or 165 degrees. Yeah. So is C1 equal to 95, C2 equal to 15 degrees, yeah? Okay, so perfect. And then you can find your use your law of sines to find your C1 and C2 again. Okay, so they have explained much more than me. I usually, keep it short. So because I use the idea is what? Quadrant, yeah? Do not forget, when you solve this, sine is positive, It's positive in quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. Okay? So this is what? 2 triangles. Okay, so solving a SSA triangle using the law of sines, you have 2 solutions. They have already given you the two solutions. Okay, so the next one is called what? The area of the oblique triangle. So what will be the area? Area is always what? A half base times what? Height for the triangle. Yeah. So what could we do? We can use the C here. Yeah. So you can use C is the base. Yeah. So what is the height? For the height, you can use what? B times sine A. Yeah. So B times sine A, or you can use what? You can use what? A times what? Sine B. Do you remember? So what will you do? So what will be the sine A? Sine A is H over B. So H will be what? B sine A. Okay, so what will be sine of B? Is H over A. So H equal to A times sine B. Okay, so for the H, you have what? Two choices, yeah? Here, yeah? And then you can draw the H on the other side too. So this is where this formula comes from. A half BC sine A. And how could you remember this? That will be what? SAS. That is your what? SAS. Means the two sides, the angle in between. Is always the two sides and the angle in between. Okay, so that will give you the area of the triangle. Okay, so let's look at the example. Okay, so you have two sides, length is 8 and 12, and I included angle, so this means the angle in between is 135. So it's 1/2 AB sine C, yeah, so 1/2 12 times 8 times sine 135 degrees. Okay, so if they want to find the exact value, what it will be? Sine 135 degrees. So what is the reference angle? It's 45. So this angle is in quadrant 135. 135 degrees is in quadrant what? 2. So sine is what? Positive. So it's positive sine of 45 degrees. What it will be? Square root of 2 or 2. Are you with me? So this is a review. So it's what? Square root of 2 or 2. So this 6, this 4. So you have what? 24 square root of 2. If they ask you to find the exact value, you can get this too. Okay? So the next one is the application. So two fire lookout stations are 13 miles apart, and with station B directly east of station A, and both stations support a fire. The bearing of the fire from station A is N35, north 35 east, and the bearing of the fire from station B is north 49 west. How far to the nearest 10th mile is the fire from station B? Is the fire from station B? So what do we wanted to find here? What do we wanted to find here? How far to the nearest 10th is from the station B? Yeah, so we wanted to find here, yeah, this side, yeah. Okay, so what should we do? So what do we know? This is 35, but what do we know here? This is the right triangle, yeah. So this, what will be this angle then? It's what? 90 minus 35, which will be what? 55 degrees. And this one, 90 minus it's 51 degrees. Yeah. Once we know two angle, what is free? The third one is free. You add together is 106, so this one is what? 74. So 180 minus 55 minus 51. Now what do we have? We have all three angles. We know one side. We have a pair. This is a pair. see 74 degrees and 13 is a pair. Then 55 degrees and the question mark is a pair. And we can find it, yeah? So we can set up, use the law of sines to solve the triangle. Clear? Good. Okay. So then this is how this set up. Okay, so you call it A. Okay? And you can, do the calculations carefully. Okay? That's the